Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. So in the previous tutorial, we basically set up the sample site using the boilerplate code and sample content, and we saw how the index page is rendering. So in this tutorial, first we will see how basically a different part of your documents map to any particular part inside a HTML page, how this mapping is basically how it is coming together. And then I'll show you how you can create new pages and how the URL is formed and how to access any particular page when you create a new document. So in any HTML page, basically there are three main sections like header and footer, and basically the main body area, which will contain all the HTML elements or all the content apart from the header and footer. So header footer normally most of the time inside a site, these are basically like constant or very less frequently changed. So and then most of the time like most all the pages, like most of the pages will share these header and footer. Okay. And then your main content will come inside the body area. So similarly here in EDS or the Edge Delivery Services, when you do the document authoring, header and footer are coming from two separate documents that is called nav and footer, and these are part of the default content that we already copied in the previous tutorial from the default Google Drive to our main Google Drive. So these are coming from these nav and footer, and suppose you want to make any changes inside header, then you have to basically make changes this nav document, and if you want to add or make any change inside the footer document or inside the footer of your site, you need to make change in the footer document. Now coming to the main area or the body area, that basically will be rendered from a separate single document. So this document name you can create. Suppose you want to create a new page, you create a new document, give a name. For example, like by default in the content, there's an index document. Suppose you want to create a about us page or contact us page or any test page. So you give that name and you author the content for that particular page, and it will basically render that inside the main area of your page. And anyway, header footer is coming from nav and footer document. So as your page is divided in three main sections, similarly, like your Google Doc, if you see the page on the left hand side and the how it is structured, and your document on a very high level is structured in this way, like where you have like multiple section inside your document, and this each section can contain different content like based on your requirement and need. And each of these section basically rendered as a separate div, or you can say separate section inside your HTML page. So like this, and these section can contain basically on a high level default content or block. So what is default content or what is block? So default, you can say default, like as I mentioned, like each document can have like multiple section, and each section can have like multiple uh, default contents or multiple blocks, so they can come in any order. So it like in the image we have seen shown, like there are three sections, and each section there is one default content and one block, but it can have multiple block as well have multiple default contents, and their order also can change, so there's no restriction on that. Coming to like what is a section first, basically in your document or in your page, section is basically is used to group certain elements together. Uh, suppose you want to group few elements inside a page, so there can be separate reason for that. Like you can have a semantic reasons, like there is some, or you can have some design reason also. For example, like you want to have a separate, different background color for the separate different section, right? So you using that basically for that particular reason, you may want to group few elements together. So that basically makes a section, and section can contain default content and block. So default content is basically your default HTML elements, or there are a few semantics that are understood, like or that are common between Google Word or Doc, Google Doc or Word or Markdown and HTML. So these are like your headings or your paragraph and events or your list, images, button, etc. So these are understood by all these technologies. So you can say all these you can say items. So these are called default content. And as in content author, you want to use as much, ideal scenario is basically use as much as default content, but that is not always the case, because you will have certain functionality to achieve, and for that purpose you use basically block. So block basically similar to what is AEM comp, like you can compare it with the AEM component in a normal AEM site. So that is similar. So if you want to achieve a certain functionality, then you create a block for that. And if you want to use certain out of box elements which are available, so that basically you don't have to basically author separately default content. It comes automatically. It are understood by this EDS that these are default content. And then when this is rendered on the page, this is how it's going to come. Like there will be like as I mentioned, there will be a uh, separate div for section. Then inside that there will be a default content wrapper for the default content. So if you can see, this is this green area is default content, and there's a separate wrapper for that. And then there will be block, and there will be separate div and wrapper div for any particular block. And that's how the overall page, you can say, DOM structure will look like. So there will be header at the top, then there will be like main, uh, okay, and then there will be footer section. So let me show this in action, and I can also show you how you can basically separate different section. So let me go to the our site that I have created in the previous video, and then let me create a new page, okay, and see this in action. So let me go to our Google Drive. So I'm already inside our Google Drive folder. So let me create a new Google Doc here. Give some name. For example, I will give about us. Okay, you can give any name. And let me just add anything, just add one, you can say one line text. This is the about us page, and see how the DOM is looking for this particular page. If I click on this, we need to preview, and so it is uh, this page is created, or it is basically doc is converted to page, and this is the preview page. That's why you can see the extension is dot page, and we have created about us page, so that's why after the slash there's about us uh, in the URL. So if you see the inspect the let me inspect this particular page, you can see there's this header wrapper that is coming from the nav doc, There's this, and then there's this footer that is coming for the footer doc, and this is from coming from the about our main page. You can say the about us document that we have just created. Inside that, you can see there's automatically one section is created, and we just added a simple text that by default takes the paragraph, I think, yeah, and this is automatically wrapped inside a default content wrapper. So default contents automatically understand by this EDS, this Google Doc, and the HTML. So so this is how it is coming now. Let me make some changes here. For example, oh, now let me add any heading. This is, let me create a new section, okay? This is section 2. And what I can do, I can make this as heading 1. And to separate a section, basically there are two ways. Either you use three hyphen, or let me add one more section. Or what you can do, you can insert a horizontal line. So if I so add here, this is section 3. So now basically we have created three sections. Let me change this to heading 2. And if I preview this now, and if I inspect it, if I go inside the main, you can see there are three different sections. Okay. So, and if you see first section is, we have not made any changes in the first section. If you see the second section, and we have just added one heading 1. So by default it is it's count as a default content and wrapped inside the default content wrapper. You can see this is the heading 1, and similarly in the section 3 we added heading 2. So this is how we have basically added three section inside a document. Now, there's one more thing that you can do for any particular section. For suppose you want to add a different style, right? So how you do that? So basically for that you can add a section metadata. There's a and you can add metadata at page level also. So that I'll make a separate video like about the whole this metadata thing. Say how you can add metadata for any particular page. But you just understand right now we're just talking about the section. So I just want to cover this section metadata, how you can add it. So basically to add any section metadata is kind of like out of box, you can say, similar to block, you can say. So for any block authoring or an right, you need to add a table. So I'll talk about this. So for section metadata, let me copy this from this out of box document index. So there's this like you need to add a table like this. So and suppose I want to add this to section 2 maybe. Okay, so I'll add it here, and basically this you just add this table. First row will be the heading, right, what this particular section is, like what this particular table meant. So this is like section metadata, so that's why the this is called section metadata, and then we can add a style element here, and then we can give some sample. This will be added as a separate CSS class inside a section. So I can, for example, give any like my section, or you can say I can add section 2 as a CSS class. If I suppose I want to add this, and if I preview now, Okay, so if you see here, the section 2 as added as a separate CSS class, and you can write a separate CSS inside style.css. So we'll talk about this where we'll discuss how you can customize or write custom CSS. So this is how you basically target any particular section and then provide a different style or design for that particular section. So th that is basically all related to default content. Now suppose I want to add a block. So we'll see about like what is a block. Like I've already discussed what is a block. It's like similar to AM component, like how we can do authoring for block, and how we can create a new block, how we can customize out of block. Suppose we want to add new elements. That all we will see in the upcoming tutorials. So just to discuss, just to showcase how you can add a block, what we can do, we can just simply copy it from our this document. So for example, there are a lot of out-of-box block available in the boilerplate code. So this card is one of them. So let me just copy this, okay, and then add it in the section 3. So we have added block here. So block basically, as I mentioned, I'll discuss more about this in upcoming tutorial, but on a high level, to add a block, basically you need to add a table, and the first row basically contains the block name, and this block name should, and the same name is basically used to create a folder for any particular block, and the same name is basically used to give define the CSS and a Java JS class. So basically you need to give the same name. And reason for that, basically when these for any when any particular block is added to any in a document, and when this is loaded by the JavaScript, it basically search using the same name, which is give any block name. Basically, it will be like seeing checking for the same name CSS class and JS class to load it. I'll show you that also in the next tutorial when discuss about the project structure, like where is that code which basically responsible for loading any block related style and JS. Okay, so now have added this as a this block, so it will be added as a table structure, and then so the first row, as I mentioned, will be the default, will be the block name. Uh, okay, first row, and there in the in upcoming rows and column, you can add a content. So basically here there are two column. Or we two column this particular row, and in the first section or the first column we have added image, in the second section we have added as a uh, added some text. So basically this will be you can say you can remember like you can teaser component, simple teaser component, or you can say this custom image and text component where the image is loaded on the top or sometime on the left or right, and then there's some text. So same kind of layout will basically come using this card block. So let me preview it now, and if you see, if I added this block in the third section, if you can see, this is that was the card uh, block. So that is what is showing here. So like there is this default content, and there's this card. Okay, so this is how it looks like in the DOM, or you can say, yeah. Okay, and now suppose if I added one more text here, right? This is sample section with a default content and block. So this will be added as a separate default content in the page. If I show you this, you can see in this section, I added in the third section. So there is this default content, then there's a card, or you can say this block, and then there's this default content again. Okay. Now, let me show you one more thing, like how you basically, how is the site structure work in EDS. So by default, if you don't give anything after the slash, if you see this about us index are present and inside the same root folder. So if I just remove this, okay, that means we have to, or EDS understand this has to load index page. If there's index page available, it will load that. And then to load any other page, right, you just need to give that page name and it load that particular page. Now, for example, if I create one more page here, or you can say one more document and give it name, give this document name like any name like sample. This is the sample page. And if you preview it, so that's how it is coming, sample. So you need to, after this default, after the main domain slash, you need to give the document name. Now, for example, let me create a folder here. New folder that can be like our articles we can mention as, sorry, not here. We can create a new. Let me first delete this. Okay. Let me add a folder here. I can give this articles. Okay. So that basically serve as a different section in your site, and inside article, suppose I added a new document. I can maybe give this as a article A1. I can mention any, this is a simple name here. This is the artic article page. And if I want to access this, let me preview this. See how this is coming here. So how is the URL? So it is basically that folder name, and then after that the page name. Okay. Now if I add index here, so for example, if I add a new doc here, and this is the article Landing page. So basically, to create any landing page for any particular section, you can create an index page inside that section or doc or folder. So you can give this index. Okay, and preview this. You can see after the articles, if you just give a slash, it will search for in the index page and and load that. And if you want to load any particular page, you need to give the name of that particular page or the document. So A1, if you see you want to load the A1, this is the article page. Okay, and if I just remove this, it will load the landing page. So that is how the structure look like of how your folder structure or the document structure map to the site URL. So basically, index any landing page for any particular section, you need to create an index page, and then specific pages will use the same name of that particular document in the URL. Okay. So I hope that is clear. So in the next video, I'll talk about the project structure, like how the default project that being created using the boilerplate look like, what are the different files, what are the out-of-box file, how you can create a new block, how basically you can set up your local server also, so that you don't have to make like commit every changes or and commit untested changes. How you can basically set up your local server and then immediately see your changes. So that I'll be discussing in the next video. Uh, Thanks.